Hi guys, welcome back to Makeup Artistry by Dana Tutorials. I'm Dana, and next to me I have my sister Kylie. I apologize for the delay in the tutorial. We had the hurricane come through and a power outage for about 5 days, so it really put us behind. But for today, what we're going to be doing is a combination of things. So I'm going to be working on Kylie's forehead here. She's got a little bit of acne, and usually she doesn't have any acne. It's just a combination of like wearing masks and trying to use sunscreen since we're in the middle of the summer. And so I want to show you guys how to cover some acne properly. And I also was inspired by what Kylie told me last time. She was thinking that maybe we should do a more of like a matte look, matte eye, matte face, you know. So usually I tend to gravitate to a dewier finish, like a J.Lo kind of look, but I think this time we're gonna just stick with the matte finishes. So as always, we start with skincare first. The first step is going to be the Pearl Essence Radiance Perfecting Serum. So even though I'm going for a matte look, I still want to give her skin what it needs, and she is very dry. So I'm going to start first by applying this serum with this brush, and it's a Morphe M492 brush. So I'm just going to take the serum, just like a couple, like maybe like a half dropper is plenty. And I'm just going to dab it onto her T-zone, and then just move it around with the brush. I like to use a serum for all skin types. They do have serums that just add a little hydration, and especially if you have oily skin, you still want to give your skin hydration so it doesn't try to overproduce oil during the day if it feels dry on its own. So definitely use a serum before moisturizer with any skin type. So we're going to go right into moisturizer. This is the L'Oreal Hydro Genius in Normal to Dry Skin. And I'm just going to use about 2 pumps of this on the same brush. And same thing, I'm just going to move it throughout her T-zone. And don't be afraid to put moisturizer or serum directly onto the blemish. It's going to be a little dry around it, so you want to give it a little hydration so that when we do put makeup on, it doesn't look so textured and like dry and crusty. Hopefully not crusty.
That's what came to mind.
Yes. Yeah, because while it's healing, it can look a little crusty.
Like grumpy.
Yeah. I'm going to go in with the Fast Response Eye Cream by MAC. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my ring finger. About this much. And dab it onto my other finger. And I'm just sticking with applying in the bone structure of her eye. So right through here. And this has the little bit of caffeine powder, which will help with dark circles or puffiness. Yes. So I am going to add a little bit of moisturizer on her lips. This is the lip conditioner by MAC. And with this Morphe M421 brush, I'm going to apply on her lip. Perfect. So we are ready to move on to eye makeup. So this is going to look a little repetitive from my other videos, but the first step in eyes, I'm going to use Lay and Low. This is it's a MAC eye primer. You can also use this as a eyeshadow on its own. And the brush I'm going to use is a MAC 287 brush. It's a small dual fiber brush. So mainly start with the product on the lid, and then you can start dispersing it throughout the rest of her eye up to her brow. So you can see right away that it really evens out her eye area. And I mean, she can go through the whole day just like this. It adds a little brightness, and it makes her eye area nice and even. And same thing on this side. I really like to use this brush because it is nice and almost like fans out a little bit, so it really makes the product easy to kind of move around. Perfect. And now we can move on to shadow. Okay, so the palette I chose to work with today is the Tarte Pro palette, and it has all of these really pretty shadows. There is a little color in here, but I like to stick with the more neutral colors, and I love to mix warms and cools together. I feel like it really makes the eye pop. There are some shimmers here, which we're not going to use today, so I'm going to probably stick in this range here, over here. The first brush I'm using is the Morphe M573 brush. It's a fluff brush, and I'm going to go in with this color here. It's called Profesh, and I'm just going to mix Chic in with it too. This will be the transition colors, these two here. So I'm starting right in the crease, and I'm just going to move the product across the whole brow bone. So like right in here is where you're going to apply that product. And I like to swirl the brush instead of like kind of moving back and forth like as a wiper motion, because I feel like when you swirl it, it just looks nice and diffused. Perfect. And same thing over here. See, if you kind of like move it back and forth, it's kind of a harsh line. So if you kind of swirl that product, it's almost like a wash of color. Don't be afraid to, you know, move around with the brush. It's not going to mess anything up. That color took a little bit of that pigment over there. This side? Yeah.
I don't know why my eyes do that. One eye takes more color than every time.
So that might happen with some of you where you apply the same shadow, the same amount, with the same brush to both eyes, same way, and it looks like there's more color on one. So just go back in and add. I did that. I started over here, went over here, realized that there was a lot more pigment on this side, and so I just added more on this side to even it out. That's okay. It's normal.
Happens to me every time.
So I'm gonna go into your eye. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go into Vintage, this one here, and I'm just gonna go in with this brush by MAC. It's a 239 brush, and it's nice and flat. If you can see it, just like that. And I'm gonna tap a little bit on here, and I'm just gonna go right into the center. So this is gonna be the lightest part of her eyeshadow, right in the center. So see how I'm kind of tapping it on, almost creating like that cut crease look. And I want it to be really opaque, so I'm making sure I'm packing it right on to the center. I'm going right up to the end of her lid, and I'm just going to smooth out the edges with my ring finger. I haven't really decided what colors I'm using yet, but I'm kind of winging it, and I'm staying more natural, like more of like an everyday matte look. I just want it to be nice and clean through here, and then I'm just going to soften the outer edges. Really pretty. You know, with everybody like starting to go back to work, it's kind of nice to have a go-to look if you're not used to putting makeup on during this time. And you know, you don't want to look like J-Lo walking in, or maybe you do, but in this case, you'll look more professional.
If you get really good doing it, you can do it when you're half asleep in the morning, like me.
Good try.
I really do my makeup half asleep every morning.
This is really effortless. I'm just using colors that are contrasting to each other so it looks like there's something going on, but it's going to be really easy to do and probably take like 5 minutes. So that looks great. I'm just making sure it's even because this eye does look a little bit more vibrant than this one. Again.
It's so annoying. Why does it do that?
Alright, good. Alright, perfect. So next I'm going to go into this color here. Now I'm going to use a Morphe M507 brush and I'm going to go right into this color. I'm actually going to mix these two. This is Bold and this is Indie. And I'm going to work in the inner lid right through here. And I'm just overlapping slightly into this color here, just to create kind of a fade. So I want it to not look like it's just white in the center. I want it to fade into it. And the same thing over here. If you apply them right, they're just going to blend themselves. You don't have to like keep going into it. If you're like a little aggressive with blending, it might look like one color at the end. Okay, and so for the last color, I am going to keep mixing. I'm going to mix Edgy in with, let me see your eye. Okay, I'm going to do Edgy and Fierce together. So again, I'm doing warm and cool, and I'm going to mix those. And I'm going right into the outer lid only. It looks really pretty. It looks very good. This is perfect for work. That looks so good. So even for the brow highlight, I'm going to stay matte, and I'm going to go in with Classic, which is the top color here, with the MAC 239 brush. So you're going to go right below her eyebrow. Now this is also very opaque, so what I'm going to do is just apply first, and I'm going to take my ring finger and smooth it out. So you don't want to go all the way in. Just stop where the arch kind of like goes down. So right through this area is where you want to apply the arch and the tail, and then you can smooth that out. So since we're going for more like of a matte kind of like professional vibe makeup, I'm gonna go in with the MAC automatic eyeliner, and this is called Photographer. And it's like a really deep brown. It almost looks like an espresso. So I'm going to have you look all the way up. And I'm just going into her waterline. Now typically I would stop the liner, like the actual line, kind of like halfway in, but this is not black, it's not as harsh. So I'm going to go all the way through with this.
Same thing over here.
Doing it just like,
Yeah, you're so good.
in the fan's eye, so it's not something.
It's probably doing better.
And you're sleeping. Oh, you did good.
My eyes are so
It looks great. For her top liner, I'm gonna mix again in this palette. I'm gonna start with Punk. This is this like black color here. And then I'm gonna go and mix it with Wicked, which is this kind of like warm espresso brown. And I'm using this generic brush. It's just a small flat brush right here. You can see it. So this is just shadow. I'm using it as a liner. And I'm going right into her lash line. Just small little digits. You don't want to make like a really harsh line or like a solid kind of liner. We're not really going into a wing so much with this look. So I want it to look more diffused, just like a thicker lash line. And you can just in. Really pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to look kind of diffused. So I'm going to curl her top lashes. Okay, just give it a couple pumps. Okay, so she's ready for mascara. For the mascara, I carry this in my kit all the time. This is L'Oreal Luminous in the darkest black that they have. It is waterproof because I usually work events and it just wears really well. But for everyday use, I'd probably recommend something that's not waterproof so it doesn't ruin your lashes. And I'm curling from the top, but if you're doing this on yourself, you can just go right from the bottom and just kind of lift up. If you're working on somebody, you could definitely curl from the top. It's really easy. Okay. Makes such a difference. You have amazing lashes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can also work really easily to make the lashes look nice and full with the wand that the mascara comes with, but because I use a disposable wand, I can't get that lift that you would get with like a actual mascara wand that the product is supposed to be applied with. So I'm doing the best I can with this, but it's not going to look as good as what you could probably do at home. So I'm just going to smudge her bottom liner, and for this I'm going to use a combination of Edgy and Innocent. So I want to add a little bit of softness, also a little brightness, and mix it with a little bit of brown. And don't worry about the thickness. You can always clean up underneath and make that line a little thinner. And I'm just going to get a little bit softer as I move into the corner. So a little bit more bold on the outside here. Oh, I love it. It looks so good. So with this bottom smudge with the eyeshadow, I use the Morphe M431 pencil brush. Now I'm going to go in and clean up underneath of her eye with the L'Oreal Eye Makeup Remover, which is oil-free. So typically I like to use this when I'm doing false lashes, but because we're going for a professional look today, we're not doing false lashes. I still love it though, just to clean up around the eye area. So I'm going to use just a Q-tip for that. And I'm going to have her look straight at the camera and just clean up anything, any fallout. I also can go in and make that bottom shadow liner a little bit thinner. This is why I like to do eyes first and then the skin, so I'm not taking any makeup off and trying to like reapply or fix it. And you can really shape the eyeshadow right here, and you can make it either a lot more sharp or you can keep it soft by using your ring finger just to kind of press the product in. So this is kind of where you can like customize that eye look. And I'm going to take the rest of the mascara and just apply it to the bottom lashes. So when you apply the bottom mascara, that bottom kind of smudge shadow that we did along the lash line, it almost doesn't look as thick because her lashes are now coming below that line, and it just looks really diffused and beautiful, kind of smoky. I'm going to move on to eyebrows, and I'm going to do the MAC the eyebrow styler. So this is a twist up, and it's got a little spoolie on the end. This is the color is called Brunette. So first I'm just going to brush out any product that may have gotten into her brows. And then I'm just going to start on the bottom. Now she's got really, really nice full brows. I'm just going to kind of go in and make them a little more defined and fill any areas that maybe are a little sparse. Like her tail. Her tail is a little sparse.
Do you see what my tail does?
Yeah. Shoots down.
They shoot like up instead of like with the, you know?
Yeah, a little
It's
bit.
weird.
No, it's pretty. You have like a nice arch. You're welcome. So brows are really personal for everyone. So the style of the brow, it just depends on the look you're going for. So you can get, I mean, you can follow the same, you know, direction of the brow with either something like this, which is a little softer. You can also use a powder and an angle brush to make it even softer, or you can go in with a gel and an angle brush to make a really like sculpted brow. But I'm just keeping it enough so you can see it, but not so crazy that people think it's like fake or drawn on. I mean, they look really good. They're both very similar. It's just for my eyebrows. Yeah.
Really? I haven't touched them. I just love them. So what's her name? Brianna Pamela.
Perfect. So I'm not going to go as crazy in the front here because she's got plenty of brow, and it also looks kind of fake when you go in and kind of draw. Like some people like those hairs. Yeah, you could draw the hairs, but like some people like that like angled, sharp, kind of like square edge, and I don't know. To me, that just doesn't look very natural. So I like when it's more natural and not blended. So I always mix, as you have probably seen in my other tutorials, I like to do a lighter color through this area, and then I go a little darker up here since the sun does tan first through here, and then a little bit on the cheek, and then it misses this whole section. So instead of using one color and trying to make it look blended all the way through, I feel like it's more natural to kind of start out lighter and then go darker up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm using the Tarte Face Heat Foundation. The first color I'm going to do is the 37N. So it's going to be slightly darker than her cheek and neck, because if you can see under here, she is pretty tan, and I don't want to make it so light where it looks like it's like a mask. So it's going to match more of her chest. The next color is going to be 42G. So this is going to go from like, I guess her cheekbone up through her forehead. All right. So this is the 37N. And this is going to look a little bit lighter than her actual face color, but it's going to match, like I said, her chest area. And I'm using the first brush that we use for skincare, which is the Morphe M492 brush. This foundation is very buildable, so I use a really small amount. And if I need to go back and add more, I can. It'll give it more coverage. But you can wear this almost like a tinted moisturizer if you apply it, you know, a little bit lighter and with the brush. You're also going to notice that this covers any blemishes really well. So although I am going to go in and give these special treatment up here, the rest of her blemishes will probably just be covered with this. So I am bringing this up a little bit past her cheekbones because it's giving her like a really nice color. If you take your time and kind of work this in with a brush, you're going to get that same kind of airbrushed finish that people always seem to want. So just take your time with your foundation. Don't like just swipe it and rub it in quickly. It'll definitely last longer if you take your time with it, and it'll look really flawless. So this amount of foundation was just about a half a pump. So a little bit goes a long way. This is the 42G that I'm going in with. You can see those blemishes are gone. You can't even see them. Okay, make them stay gone. That's the plan. So when you're trying to cover something, instead of doing this motion, you kind of want to just pat and pack it right on there. Because it's in her hairline though, you just don't want it to be too heavy. So I'm going to go in with this beauty blender and I'm just going to lightly smudge into her hairline. Oh my gosh, they're like gone. Good. Yeah. This is very easy. And I'm just bringing it down to her cheekbones a little bit. I did a half a pump also with this, and I used probably like not even a quarter of it. It just covered everything really nicely. This is unreal. It's covered? It's covered. Thank God. I'm going to start spot correcting. Although this is covered really nicely, I want to make sure it lasts. So what I'm going to do is use the LA Girl Pro Conceal in medium beige, and the brush I'm going to use to apply is a Morphe brush. It's a dual fiber kind of little fluff brush, and so I'm just going to tap right over really small amounts, and I'm going to check the rest. There's like very minor, but I'll right there and one there. I'm just going to kind of highlight her chin a little bit. Perfect. And I'm going back in with the Beauty Blender, and I'm just going to lightly tap that product in until the edges are gone. And then I'm just going to blend her chin. I'm going to do a little bit down her nose. I didn't pick a concealer that was so light where you can like really see the highlight. It's just a tad, but it's a tad lighter than her foundation, just to give her face a little dimension. And it also combats that redness that we saw around her blemishes. Now before I go and set those with powder, I'm going to just finish her concealer. and I'm going to start under her eye. This is the MAC Prep and Prime in Bright Forecast, and I'm using the same brush I just used for the other concealer. This is a highlighter, it's not a concealer, so it's just going to add some brightness.
I love this stuff.
This is amazing.
It's like a miracle product.
It really is. So, I mean, this will combat dark circles on its own, and for a more mature skin, I would only use this with like a little bit of powder to set it. But this is great just to brighten before you go in with concealer.
I use it every day. I love it.
It's the best. And it also has a little brush.
It makes such a difference.
So you just twist the bottom, it comes right up. You don't even need a brush, you can just use it right from here and throw it in your purse. Now I'm going to go in right over top of that with the LA Pro Conceal in medium beige. And then I'm just going to press that in with the Beauty Blender. This is slightly damp. I did have to wash it right before, so it's a little damp. I wouldn't use these too damp because it'll dilute the product, but it gives a nice bounce on the skin when you have a little bit of water still in here. Yes, honey.
I love salad.
Okay, and I'm going to add a little on her chin. Perfect.
You're almost out.
I have one here. Get it out.
Please leave my NYX, and it makes me mad because I want to use it. Yeah. So I should probably start breaking that.
Alright, so the first round of powder I have is the Too Faced Peach Perfect. It's a loose powder, and it is meant to brighten, and it is amazing. So I'm going.
It smells good.
It smells really good. So I'm going to use it just under her eye, and I'm using a Japanese fluff brush. This is my favorite brush for concealer, for powder.
Do you like using a brush over like baking?
I don't like baking. I don't
Really?
like baking. I really don't. I've tried it. I feel like it sucks the moisture out of.
Makes it cakey, right?
Yeah, like out of the foundation. And even when, like for me, my skin is not as tight as like a 20-year-old. So when I go to wipe the bake away, I feel like it creases everything. And like
I'm 20-something and I deal with that too. So
yeah, so I'm not a fan of baking. I don't like the way it looks. I think it makes it more difficult. And then for you to actually go in and like soften everything and try to melt it back is almost impossible without taking it off. So,
do you have the same type of skin as me?
I mean, we're the same mom.
I know, but like, do you have dry skin?
Yes.
Okay, so then it doesn't work for dry skin.
I feel like it doesn't, although a lot of people think it does. I just don't recommend doing it.
Our sister Molly doesn't have dry skin, and she swears by baking.
Okay.
She bakes it all.
Yeah.
Everything.
I'm not into the baking.
I've never liked the way it looked on me. I was just curious.
To me, this gives the same effect as if you were going to bake, but it doesn't complicate your makeup, which is like what I look for.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in with a pressed powder for the rest of her. Mostly her T-zone. I'm using the MAC Studio Fix powder. It also has a foundation in it, so it does add a little bit more coverage, so I'm not going to go too crazy with the application. I'm using the same Japanese fluff brush, and I'm going into this color NC40, and I'm going to go right over the blemishes that we just covered, because once you use a liquid, you have to use the powder to set. and then it will just last. You can go right on her chin, hit these two spots. Can't even
I
find
didn't
it.
even know there was one over there. So it's old.
It doesn't even look new. It just looks like it was there.
Scar, maybe. You could do a peel.
Yes. But not in the sun. Don't go in the sun if you do a peel. Not good for your skin.
I'm gonna do it when I start working and when I don't have a life.
There you go. And I'm just hitting all of those T-zone areas. And now she's nice and even, so we can go into contouring. I'm going to go in with her contour. This is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. I cannot see the name. I want to say it's like Give Me Sun. It's just like that. This one I think is a little bit deeper though. But if you, I believe they still sell Give Me Sun, and that is a great alternative for most skin types. So Kylie, when she gets tan, she gets a lot of peach in her skin. So instead of going in with like a contour I would usually use, which is more of like a muddy kind of brown, this has a lot of orange and like peachy tones in it, so it'll make everything just like blend together. And I am using the Morphe brush. It's a pointed blush brush, this one here. And I'm just gonna start on her forehead, right in the hairline.
Is it bronzer?
This is a bronzer. I typically do not like a bronzer. I think they're really orangey.
So you never use bronzer.
Never use bronzer, but in the summer, if you have a skin tone like Kylie and you get that peachiness, then these will look amazing. So good. And I'm just gonna go right into her cheekbone with this. This even has enough color that you can just use this as the contour and the blush, because it'll give you that brightness that a blush will give you.
I feel like I'm pale right now.
You are not.
So I haven't been in the sun in so long.
You're not pale at all. Yeah, I think this is really pretty. Like for a 2-in-1. One more time on this side. Let's see. So beautiful. And I'm gonna go.
Sorry, my knees have been cracked.
I'm gonna go back in with the Morphe M492 brush. This is what I use for skincare and foundation, and I'm just gonna kind of shape where we just put that the contour slash blush, because you never want it like too far down. So for highlight, I am using the MAC Hyper Real Glow. This is the pink kit, and I'm using a MAC fan brush as well. And I'm going to dip it to the deepest color, which is more like a golden hue. And I'm just going to slide that down her, like right above her cheekbone, toward the her mouth line. And then I'm just going to smooth it out with my ring finger. Right through here. Perfect. So everything on her face is a matte finish, except for this. This I will never not use. It just gives the skin such a pretty finish. It looks very youthful. Very healthy, you know. You can still do everything matte except for this. I might just add a little bit down the bridge of her nose and the tip of her nose, and then that is it. You can kind of stop right here with the contour and everything and just move straight into lip, and then you'll be finished. But I am going to give her just like a really light nose contour. I'm not going to go in with the small side of the brush and then the big. I'm just going to use the big side. So this is the JD Wadey nose contour brush, and this is by Luxie. And I'm going to use the Park Ave Princess contour palette, and I'm going to go into Princess Cut, not with that side, with the fluff side. And I'm just going to lightly contour, almost like I'm going into the blending process, but I'm not doing, I don't want anything too sculpted. I want to keep it really just natural and subtle. So I'm just going down her, the sides of her nose and up the bridges, the two sides. Perfect. Good. Now we can move on to lip. For her lipstick, I am going to mix these three colors together because I can never use one. I'm going to mix the Cocoa by Kylie Cosmetics. This is called Glow Money, this one. I'm also going to mix Cocoa by Kylie Cosmetics in the Allergic to BS. And the last color is going to be by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is Veronica. So these three together, and this brush. This brush is by Morphe, and it's just a small detail brush that I like to use as a lip brush. So this is going to be just like a natural lip color. It's like perfect for going back to work, or if you like the kind of lip colors where you can still see that you have, it's like close to your own lip tone, and it's not on the lighter side. And this is deep enough where you don't need a lip pencil, although I'm probably going to use one anyway because I love them and I like to finish the line. But if you don't want to use one, I don't think you have to with this. Pretty. I'm gonna have you turn this way a little. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Oh wow. It looks so pretty. All right, I love it. It looks beautiful. I'm gonna add a lip pencil. The lip pencil I chose to go with this is by MAC. It's called Hover. Okay. This is pretty close in color, so it's not gonna really like change anything. It's just gonna make everything nice and even and finished. These liquid lipsticks do dry down and they get a little bit dry. Kylie has a drier lip anyway. So I am going to go in with a little gloss just in the center so that it feels more comfortable. And this is MAC Cream Sheen Glass, and the color is Boy Beat. This is another favorite, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to keep it in the center so that, when it does melt the product on her lip, it doesn't move around too much. And it really does last all day. She can eat with this. I would say if you put it on in the morning, it should last you like well after lunch. It does last, yeah. Okay. And then the last step I'm going to do is just a little bit of a setting spray, and it's going to be a matte finish. Okay. So this is the MAC Fix Plus Matte Setting Spray. Okay. It's just like the regular Fix Plus, but just keeps everything nice and matte. So I'll have you close. Ready, 1, 2, 3. You can give a nice healthy spray. And this will just help the makeup kind of like melt and kind of like settle. It does help it look more natural, so you don't see like the lines where the blush or the bronzer or highlight are. It just kind of like melts into a nice finish and obviously keeps it matte. So that completes our look for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm trying to give you guys like a little bit of different looks so you can take, you know, what you need to from each of my classes. But I do want to hear feedback, and you know, if you have any recommendations of what you'd like to learn or to hear, just let me know, and we'll work on the next class. And I will have my stylist friend Lindsay join us again for a different look in you know, just a couple weeks from now. So I hope you guys are doing well, and thank you for joining us, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Was one of the greatest innovators.
That never bothers me. My eye just starts twitching. It twitches all the time. I don't know why.
There.
Oh, what is that? Oh, I don't know.
Could be dry skin, maybe.
Oh my god, you know, my skin's really being such a brat lately. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I don't want it anymore. Take it off.
Give me it back.
I don't want my skin anymore.
Take it back, Mom.
Take it away.
Okay. You can't really see it, can you?
No. I have a constant eye twitch. Constant. Something's wrong with me. Okay. Sorry. I'm just tripping you really quick.
Your nose burnt. Last time you were a little burnt.
A little?
Little bit.
It's sun poisoning.
Yes.
Yes. I was like, kinda a lot of burnt.
Yeah.
Someone here.
Did you show them?
I've heard a lot of things. What are those?
No, but there's people. There's people upstairs. There's tenants upstairs.
I really want to go to Salem, Massachusetts this fall. Do you want to go?
Did you have a vibe that someone was out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Could get Oh, Kylie. Your lips look amazing.
You don't need any more filler?
No, I don't think so.
I have a song stuck in my head. It's a TikTok song. It's like the base on glitter. I'm gonna show you how to bag an 8-figure. I can't say there's another word. It's segment.
Just use my imagination.
You know.
Yes. Great. So,
That smells like something, like candy, and I can't put my finger on it.
like Pez, maybe?
I can't smell it
Like
anymore.
Smarties.
I'm trying to smell. Maybe.